What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the RoR Podcast. It was an 8-day yesterday. I didn't fast. And I had posted a picture on Instagram. I figured that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. Every time I fail, I'm just going to post a picture on Instagram. I've never heard that motorcycle around here before, so I guess I should pretty much keep all the other information I was about to say quiet. Other than that, I would say it was a very productive day. I feel myself donating more. If I'm out and somebody's asking, there's this one guy advertising, get kids out of abuse, some backpacks and stuff or whatever, and I was like, all right, here, this is all I got, and I pulled out some money and I gave him what I had, and that kind of shit hits home to me. I experienced a lot of things growing up myself, and I would like to get back to a lot of people who've suffered in a life that nobody asked to be in, and that's kind of like a negative mindset to be in. So it's kind of like the idea with our philosophy is, if you're watching me and you know my history and what we believe in, you basically asked to be here where you're sitting, where you're listening right now. This is what you wanted. Your soul's journey, your soul's purpose was coming into this existence and being of significance to the existence, because life is like a web, right? Everything needs to be intricately in place for the universe to exist, conspire. I have a lot of theories, though, about that as well, especially when it comes to how our brains work. I've been watching this podcast about consciousness, and it doesn't appear that there is a scientific explanation for consciousness outside of it's in our brain, but there's no scientific evidence supporting that consciousness is wired in the brain. It was such an interesting take on how life works, and it kind of made me connect the dots, and I realized that consciousness is like radio waves, right? And this is how it was explained. It's in the atmosphere, and somehow it's almost like our minds consume it. Or this is how my perception of it was, because he explained it a little differently, but the idea was, for me, and how I'm going to explain it now, is it's like our brain allows, it's like a radio tower. It allows so much energy to come into what we are as a being. And that's why it's called the collective consciousness. This is something that even Carl Jung has talked about, et cetera, but I would say he was half right. So here's an example of collective consciousness, and that would be birds migrating, predator versus prey, like lions, all this kind of stuff. How all animals in this world blink. For example, there's a scientific explanation for that, but in reality, that was just a collective conscious of everything saying, okay, we need to wipe our eyes to exist. That's how we're all connected. If you're always wondering, how we're connected to everything in the universe, or should I say animals, for example, think of the most basic fundamental things that you do. Shitting, sleeping, even blinking, those kind of things. You got a heartbeat. We're all interconnected, but our streams of consciousness, there's different levels to it. So, for example, Earth used to be, I forget what it's called, Kevlar or something. It was just a planet in the sky, and this is an example of how consciousness was created. Our consciousness, not our basic consciousness that we were before we gained higher level. We were just a planet. This would be pre-Earth. A thing comes in to slam into our planet, and it explodes. But then it combines. It combines by creating its own gravity. That gravity is our consciousness. This other planet that came in and struck the Earth, creating what we have today, is the equivalent of, and this is just a hypothesis at this point, shrooms. Humans, in order to survive and how weak we are, scavenged a lot, ate anything to survive. And through that, we gained higher levels of consciousness by trying to eat and tolerate different sorts of herbs, medicines, etc. to survive. And somehow we stumbled upon these things that had expanded our level of consciousness, bang, created the earth, and now we're on a different playing field, just like the earth is. The earth is on a different playing field than the other planets. Think of Mars, think of Mercury, all these planets here. Some of them are too cold, some of them are too hot, but we somehow hit the sweet spot. And that's where our collective consciousness comes in, and how there's levels to it. And it really depends on, I would say luck, but luck is a very ignorant term to use, considering what I said earlier with our life being a piece of a web. So it was already pre-strung before you even thought of, but your soul decided it. And it's for the grand plan of the universe, which who knows what it is after that. And it's safe to say consciousness works a lot like the universe, is how I was trying to explain to you. And which goes back to when somebody says that we are the universe, this is what I think they're trying to connect with you about. Because we are the universe. Our brains work like it. Everything seems to work exactly the way space does. And I know people have their gripes about space and if it's real, and or if we just live in a bubble, or all this kind of shit. The reality of it is it doesn't really matter, because there is a universal language, and that would be symbols and numbers. Symbols, but I was going to say numbers, but numbers is a type of symbol, so I'm just going to say symbol. That's the universal language. If there were aliens, and if there is aliens, they would communicate through symbols, like, hi, how are you? Like, I would wave to you. That is a symbol saying, hey. Numbers, for example, symbols. Everything is a symbol. So it's almost like our planets now. I'm going to get into like theories now. It's almost like these planets are a symbol. Who created our universe, right? The star. The star is the collective unconscious. The star is what gives all of us the ability to even perceive consciousness, the sun, right? But it's up to us to either expand our way of absorbing it or keeping it less than. Because the sun supplies us all consciousness. If the sun disappeared, technically we would all be dead, because our bodies cannot handle something without the sun. Not the plants, not even anything on this planet, really. It would just kind of all disappear. Even the planet itself, because there's nothing to rotate next to it. There's nothing to keep it gravitationally rotating. So the sun is God, in a sense. The sun created us, and it allows us to draw upon its power depending on how you're able to connect with it. So I would say for those that are kind of into spell work or wanting to get into it, I would say the sun is a very good place to start. If you're looking to start something new, or get things done properly, the energy of that star is one. One meaning the beginning. So whatever you want to start something new, go for it, and always have the sun in mind when you do it. And I just bought this book of spells too, and I'm very interested in seeing what else comes from it. It's almost like the world protects me in a way that I don't think anybody really understands. My friends like, oh, it's just a person who says when they're young, or like I'm invincible or something. Well, I know my role on this planet. This is why I'm speaking to you to begin with. I know my role on this planet. I know I'm not going to die anytime soon. And that's where my confidence comes from, knowing that my role, my purpose is to inspire, to create, to even destroy certain aspects and things like that. I'm not a perfect person. Sometimes I am the bad guy in a lot of people's lives, and I'm gonna have to live with that. But at the same time, I was meant to be that way, so that person can grow and be a better person. And it's not like I'm out there doing it on purpose and then using that as an excuse. It's just kind of like the way life works. My demon, we all have this negative side to us that we kind of suppress, and Walking Dead really paints a picture for us, and how it's really societal norms and man-made rules that really prevent us from expressing who we truly are. And it's a big reason of why you probably are sad or depressed or don't feel entirely like fitting in, even though you do. It's because you're not really expressing yourself fully. You can either use your negativity for good or for evil. And that would be, for an example, like greed. Greed is an example that I have where, I'll take something, give it to somebody else, but like give that other person no credit, like it's all me. So that's something that's very greedy in nature, but it's helping that person, but you're screwing over this person. But do they really need that credit is what I would say. But I would want the credit if somebody took my information that they saw from this video and put it out there. Like, that's just something I would appreciate. So it's a double-edged sword, really. And that's why I came to accept the fact that whatever I say, hopefully people learn from it and move on and give it to other people, regardless of whether or not they recommend me or not. The whole point is to, I think, in this part of time, the human goal, the human collective goal, whether you guys know it or not, is to expand our consciousness once again. Why do you think we're always trying to push the boundaries of technology, push the boundaries of what things can do, medicine, herbs, etc., food, even? We're always trying to push that boundary of that next big thing. It's because our mind so craves the expansion of our consciousness. That is the secret wish, the secret goal of humanity. And once we achieve that, we can hit the next step. It's like a chapter. It's like a book. This would be the end of book 1 and into book 2, where now we're at a higher level of consciousness. Now we're able to explore more and be even better than before. Maybe even get closer to the grand plan of the universe, which none of us really know. We just say it, or I just say it. And Marcus Aurelius says it. There was a grand plan, and he knew it intuitively. I know it intuitively that there is a grand plan, and that I know that I'm meant to be here for something, and you are meant to be here for something. Whether or not you're the homeless guy on the street, whether or not throat chakra attack, example like that, like you are necessary. All you are necessary. And I think on that note, I think I gave enough information for tonight. I failed my fast, like I said before. And all you can do is get back up and do it again. If you want more information, you can check out my Instagram, recalling_life. My photos there, and it has more explanation on why I did it to begin with, which I'll leave it at that. So thanks for sticking by me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.